what about this new experience with this kind of, directing this story? So what was it like for you and for you both working together in a...
I love being able to bring to life something that Cheo has written. We worked together on Southland, and it was a very different kind of a production, but I love the feel that he had there, and we bring that to this this world of Marvel, which is also quite dynamic, but also, very plastic in some ways. So I love to collaborate with people, and I love especially to work with somebody who has had the experience that I have had and brings his support and his love. I mean, he was so kind while I was working, and it was a new environment, and I felt very comfortable with everyone, but that just makes you feel like family. And in one episode of directing, I felt really like a part of something very special.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, like I loved working with Lucy when we worked together on Southland because of not only just how intelligent and intense and smart an actress as she is, but also just really watching her interact with the crew, watching her interact with her fellow actors. Because Southland was one of these productions that was shot so quickly. The actors themselves are constantly on the move, and there are no sides on set, and it's shot like a documentary, and are very attentive to each other. And so all the qualities that I observed as the supervising producer working with her on that show, once we started talking about this and her directing this, I knew that she would bring all that to this, and she did. And it's everything that basically helped her, all of her personal qualities that helped her as an actress, really were elevated to even a higher level as a director. For the show, and it's just visually, in terms of her preparation, in terms of how she interprets the script, in terms of communicating things that she liked as well as things she wanted to change, also working with the actors. I mean, make no mistake about it, as brilliant and as an actress as she is, she's an even more brilliant director. And I think what's going to be great is, people getting to see that side, because people always kind of think if they know. Even though so many directors started off as actors, and so many Oscar-winning directors, have been well known as actors, whether it's Ron Howard, whether it's Clint Eastwood. I think the same thing is going to happen with Lucy, where she really is going to be known as a director who acts as opposed to an actor, who directs.
That's so kind of you.
Oh, but it's true. Not bad. I think it's very interesting, the atmosphere of Luke Cage. At the same time, he is inside the Marvel universe, but at the same time, he has this kind of Harlem kind of touch, and at the same time a magic realism, and at the same time a very strong realism, streetwise kind of realism as well. What about interpreting this kind of really difficult balance, I think?
I love the dichotomy of that intimacy and that world of superhero that he has to balance. But the intimacy is what makes, I think, Luke Cage so special. It's not about his superpowers, because that's something that we know and we can just predict, right? That's something that somebody has. But what makes him so special is that he's tender, and that he's loving, and that he has that soft side, and that he has lost everything. And, what he has is his relationship. That's what makes him different. He's not trying to just be the steely person. And in order for other audience members to connect to somebody who has that otherworldly power, they need to be able to see themselves within that person. And that tenderness and that openness is what people can connect to. Because that strong side, not everyone can connect to. Nobody really has that. If somebody shot you, you'd be dead. He doesn't, and I love that we're talking about human stories in a world that is, otherworldly. And that's what makes this so special, I think, because it's not just about, all green screen. It's not that. It's actually somebody who has these powers but is a human being living in this world.
Well, Luke Cage is the superhero show for people that don't like superhero shows. Yeah. Because what happens is that, people that criticize the genre say, oh, well, there's no depth, there's no emotional development. It's all about these powers and special effects. And, the thing is that we never use his power as a distraction. Okay, we're running out of story, let's have Luke crash through something. No, it's always about, the fact that he uses his power and loses his identity at great sacrifice. And one of the things that we did with the pilot was people were like, wait a minute, like, where's he going to use his powers? But then they got so caught up in the story, they almost forgot about his powers until the last scene, where all of a sudden, oh man, he is a superhero. And so this time, we didn't do that. We just got more visceral with it. But it's really about imagining a world where if you had superpowers but you didn't wear a mask, what is that like? What does that do to your personality? What does that do to your psyche? How does it affect your relationship? How does it affect who you are in your neighborhood? These are all the things that we explore in the second season, and it seems logical to do it, but the twists and what Luke goes through, I think, is what really makes the second season really special.